These are freaking sweet. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 hilarious Peter Griffin moments.
Butt scratcher! Butt scratcher!
Where'd you move here from? Dumbsville?
Yo, I hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. Come a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another bowl, let's go.
Yo, what is up, everybody? So as you all know, very recently I finished the entire Alpha and Omega series. Now, of course, I'm not technically done. A ninth film could still hypothetically happen, as much as I don't really want that. And of course, Norm of the North, a franchise by the same studios, is definitely 100%, let's say, on my radar. But as of right now, when it comes to purely Alpha and Omega material, we are 100% finished with the franchise. I mean, I even did the video game, and the only things left to do in the franchise are like some books and some McDonald's toys. And I'm gonna be honest, I can't read. And look, when it comes to McDonald's, unless it starts with Travis Scott, I want nothing to do with it. But I do want to milk this franchise one more time, and I do need a quick video so I can spend more time making other videos. And this has been pretty heavily requested, so I'm gonna be ranking every single Alpha and Omega movie. This was gonna be a tier list video, but honestly, if I did that, one movie would be in D tier and the rest would all be in F tier. And I think you guys deserve a more definitive list than that. So this is every single Alpha and Omega movie ranked from best to worst. So, to quote the baby, let's go! While by no means a good movie, Alpha and Omega 4, The Legend of Sawtooth Cave, sits at a very comfortable mediocre. It's a very solid 4 out of 10, and a franchise comprised of 1s out of 10s. If it tells you anything, this is the only Alpha and Omega movie on my letterboxd that isn't a half star. For one thing, the ghost concept, while very goofy, and not fitting with the tone of the previous films at all, is actually kind of intriguing. And looking back, I actually kind of appreciate the attempt to bring more lore to the characters, mainly when it comes to not Dennis Hopper. So arguably, this film kind of has the best world building in the series, and characters actually have flaws they have to overcome. But once again, while it's the best movie in the series, it's not a good one. The animation may be better than a lot of the other films in the series, but it's not exactly a looker. The dialogue is also extremely corny. Some characters are extremely obnoxious. The voice acting is very hit or miss. The film is way too short, and the plot falls apart in the second half. With that said though, this is in my opinion the best in the franchise, and I could see someone ripping off this plot and doing a better job with the basic foundation. And that is the nicest thing I'll say about this franchise.
Running this house, ain't no control in the game. They never leave.
Alpha and Omega 2, A Howl-iday Adventure, is a film that borders on so bad it's good. It's also in a more unique place. Being the second film in the franchise, it isn't quite at the overstaying its welcome point yet. The animation errors are hysterically bad. The animation itself is really bad. The characters are not good, either being one-dimensional, annoying, or both. The Christmas themes are completely forced. There are times when the film breaks the continuity of its predecessor and doesn't give a shit. And when the story isn't being generic, it's essentially nostalgia baiting for a first movie that isn't even good. I will say this, the movie is so by the numbers and only 40 minutes long, and once again, sometimes kind of funny unintentionally, making it a better movie than the others for the wrong reasons. But hey, it's something at least. This is the second most tolerable film in the series. Take that for what you will.
All my friends are dead, push me to the edge.
You know, for years, I've held a massive bias against this movie. This was my least favorite movie of all time for years. And in a way, it still kind of is. I still absolutely hate the movie. And it's the perfect representation of what I don't look for in a movie. It's a painful experience, almost entirely because it's so by the numbers. The film has terrible characters, a generic story, and some of the most asinine creative decisions I've ever seen. mean. And the fact that people accuse me of being a furry hater simply because I hate this movie, while at the same time not giving genre-bending films like Fantastic Mr. Fox even a sliver of a chance, it kinda depresses me. And yet, as much as I would love to, I just can't put this lower on the list. I absolutely hate the movie, to my bare bones. But at least it didn't get worse, I guess? At the very least, I can say this movie kinda tried. Try to lie to you that it's good, that is. The animation is bad, but it's also the best in the series. The story is bad, but at least there's an idea there. I still hate this movie for the reasons I mentioned in that original video I made, but I can at least say that I was naive back then. So naive.
California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top.
The only thing worse than a bad movie is an incoherent one. Like Alpha and Omega 2, Alpha and Omega 6 gets close to the so bad it's good line. But there are two problems. One, the series has at this point way overstayed its welcome. And two, the film is so blatantly cobbled together, it's almost unwatchable. The story is wild, which makes it at least more entertaining and fascinating, as opposed to the other films in the series. But with Alpha and Omega 6, the priority wasn't on making a good movie. It was on finding an idea that they could make a movie with, shoehorn Alpha and Omega characters into, and write a script where characters meander around for 40 minutes. As goofy as the concept of Alpha and Omega with dinosaurs is, the film is surprisingly boring at points, and never embraces its stupidity. The writing and the plot and the way the dinosaurs get to the Alpha and Omega world is also nonsensical. The dialogue is basically screenplay suicide. There are scenes and plot points that make zero sense whatsoever. It's very clear nobody actually cared on this project and just wanted to launder their cocaine money. At least I can say with the first film there was a passion in it. This film is devoid of that, which is why I'm putting it lower on the list. I will say though that one song in the movie was kind of a banger.
This place is really twisted.
Alpha and Omega Journey to Bear Kingdom is the one so devoid of creativity it killed the franchise. It's a film I can't really find anything to say about it, not necessarily because it's bad per se, even though it is, but because the film somehow feels like it's the most cobbled together in the whole series. Characters will be introduced, do nothing, and then disappear from the entire movie. Certain plot points are ripped out of other movies entirely, but worst of all, the film is extremely forgettable. I couldn't tell you a single plot point aside from Bear royalty. The animation is the worst in the whole series. The plot, like Alpha and Omega 6, is basically incoherent, and at this point, the series has beyond run its course. The only good thing I can say about it is that the bear stuff could have been interesting, but only if it were in another movie, because the bear stuff actively breaks the lore of the series. But honestly, who cares? Because the people writing this dog shit certainly don't. Alpha and Omega 7 is a nothing movie. Nothing noteworthy happens in it. Nothing exciting happens. The entire movie is just snow, I guess. You basically already know the plot. The wolves do something kind of scandalous. There's some gimmick in the movie. It could be bears, it could be fog or snow, and then they save the day somehow. I would say it's by the numbers, but every movie is by the numbers in this series. This literally is a nothing movie because there's nothing memorable about it. At least the bear one had bears in it. This has literally nothing. The only unique thing is the subtitle, the big Fureeze. A pun so bad, it perfectly defines the movie. Painful and unfunny. The only other thing memorable is the gamer line, and that's about it.
How did you know I was a gamer?
Only you. Yeah, I got one virtual, got one in that dance.
Alpha and Omega 3 made me realize that there are indeed films worse than Alpha and Omega 1. For one thing, the plot is extremely incoherent. I watched the film twice for the review and still couldn't tell what was going on. The film reuses models like it's no tomorrow. The film is nauseatingly ugly, making it painful to watch and look at. The characters are obnoxious and terrible. The everything is unrelentingly lazy. If we weren't there already, this film is the beginning beginning of unwatchable territory. There's really nothing enjoyable about it, and I have trouble believing that one human being on this earth could possibly enjoy this. It's not even good in a campy pulp kind of way. What it is an incoherent mess that's really unenjoyable, and one that I can't recommend to any human being. The only reason you should watch this movie is if you're a criminal and you're getting tortured, and somehow this isn't the worst in the series. No, the worst one is... What's worse than an incoherent movie? How about a movie whose entire plot is just the other movies? Alpha and Omega 5 is, in my opinion, the worst film in the series. A film so bad it brought me to tears. The film not only reuses models from previous movies, and not only reuses plot points from previous movies, but reuses footage from previous movies as well. In fact, the entire movie is basically just reused clips, which begs the question, why not just watch the previous movies? Not that you'd want to or anything, but at the very least, those films try to have an original plot. Actually, let me rephrase that. Those films try to have a plot. Alpha and Omega 5 doesn't have a plot. It's a bunch of reused clips and nonsense, which is why it is, in my opinion, the worst Alpha and Omega movie. So yeah, that's about it. Roll the conclusion.
I don't really care if you cry. I don't really shouldn't have a lie.
So that was every Alpha and Omega movie ranked. Thank God I'm done with this franchise because I don't think I can take anymore. But at the same time, thank you all for making this series such a massive success. If it weren't for these movies, I probably wouldn't even be here, building myself up to finally talk about them. Of course, stay tuned for more. I'm not done yet. I got plenty of video ideas to do. This is simply the beginning of a brand new future for me. But until then, thank you all for watching. I love you all. And as always, I will see you guys on the next Dumbsville video.
Fuck you in the lane you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, throw that shit in fifth. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The live stream is starting right now. Hit the link in the description and come to the most amazing show ever. Oh,